You are now listening to Episode 1 of Dracula, a radio play, presented by the Pourquoi-Pas players and CHMR 93.5 FM. This episode is written by Karin Murray-Bergquist, based on the novel by Bram Stoker, and is directed by Hannah. We hope you enjoy.
Travelling Journal of Jonathan Harker, Solicitor's Clerk. Hang on, Solicitor. Mina wouldn't like to hear me call myself a clerk. Not now that I've fully qualified. Arrived on May the 3rd, Bistritz, from Budapest. Left Munich at 8:35 p.m. on 1st May, arriving at Vienna early next morning. Budapest seems a wonderful place from the glimpse which I got of it from the train and the little I could walk through the streets. I feared to go very far from the station as we had arrived late and would start as near the correct time as possible. The most western of splendid bridges over the Danube took us among the traditions of Turkish rule. We came after nightfall to Klossenburg. I had for supper a chicken done up some way with red pepper, which was very good but thirsty. Memorandum: get recipe for Mina. The waiter said it was called paprika Händel, and that, as it was a national dish, I should be able to get it anywhere along the Carpathians. I found my smattering of German very useful here. Indeed, I don't know how I should be able to get on without it. I shall enter here some of my notes, as they may refresh my memory when I talk over my travels with Mina. I read that every known superstition in the world is gathered into the horseshoe of the Carpathians, as if it were the center of some sort of imaginative whirlpool. If so, my stay may be very interesting. I must ask the Count all about them.
Good morning, Herr Harker. I hope you slept well.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry to be leaving so soon. Bistritz seems a very interesting old place.
It is most interesting. Why do you not stay another night? It would do you good.
I'm afraid I can't. I told my employer I'd be at the client's place by the earliest possible date. By the by, can you tell me anything of Castle Dracula? I wasn't able to find it on any map.
Please, young Herr, must you go today? Do you know what day it is?
Day? It's May the 4th, isn't it?
It is the eve of St. George's Day. Tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world will have full sway. Do you know what you're going to?
I cannot delay. I have a duty to attend to. Surely you understand I must go.
Then you are already decided. Take this. For your mother's sake.
A rosary? Thank you? So I'm an English churchman, but... Oh dear. Thank you. You are far too kind. Thank you, madam.
Godspeed, young Herr.
Aboard for Bukovina. You are the Herr Englishman whom Count Dracula has summoned?
Yes, Jonathan Harker at your service.
Good. One moment, I will speak to the innkeeper.
Where did he say you were going?
To Castle Dracula.
Yes. Skogostak.
You are going to Castle Dracula. Take this. Here, you should take it.
Mountain Ash? That's terribly kind, thank you.
To protect you.
Excuse me, do you mind if I ask, what is the sign he's doing?
It's a sign against the evil eye. Against War Dog.
Thank you. Here's a test for my polyglot dictionary. War Dog. And the dictionary says it means... devil. Oh dear. I wish I hadn't looked that up.
Come aboard. We will go.
Aboard for Castle Dracula? If my diary should reach Mina before me, let it be my goodbye.
Look, it's Tenzek, God's seat.
What? Oh, goodness. That snow-covered peak. Yes, that certainly seems an apt name. I must describe it all for Mina.
An hour less than the time. There is no carriage here. The heir is not expected after all. He will now come on to Bukovina and return tomorrow or the next day. Better the next day.
Very well.
Too late. He must have known.
You are early tonight, my friend.
The English heir was in a hurry.
That is why I suppose you wished him to go on to Bukovina. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much, and my horses are swift.
Was a dead travel fast?
Shh! Give me the heir's luggage.
Godspeed, Herr Harker.
Come. The night is chill, and my master the Count bade me take all care of you.
Many thanks. Thank you, Coach. Oh, he's gone. That superstition about midnight was a good deal easier to dismiss from the safety of the Golden Krona Hotel. What's that blue flame ahead of us? Am I dreaming or imagining things? There's something about this place, with its mountains and pathless woods, and its wolves.
Castle Dracula. I will leave you here.
Thank you, Drive. Oh, where's he gone? He certainly vanished quickly. Well, here's the door, and the driver's taken the horses to the stables, and there's no one to knock on it for you. And no reason not to knock on it and get on with business. Come on now, Harker, don't lose your nerve now.
Welcome to my house. Enter freely, and of your own will.
Oh, such a cold hand, and strong as a vice. You are Count Dracula.
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. Come in. The night air is chill, and you must need to eat and rest.
Oh, let me take my luggage.
Nay, sir. You are my guest. It is late. My people are not available. Come, this way. I pray you, be seated and sup how you please. You will, I trust, excuse me that I do not join you, but I have dined already, and I do not sup.
Thank you. My employer, Mr. Hawkins, sends his regrets and asks me to convey this letter.
I must regret that an attack of gout forbids any traveling on my part, but I am happy to say I can send a sufficient substitute in whom I have every possible confidence. He is a young man, full of energy and talent in his own way, and of a very faithful disposition. He is discreet and silent, and has grown into manhood in my service. He shall be ready to attend on you when you will during his stay, and shall take your instructions in all matters. Yours, Peter Hawkins.
You have distinguished yourself very well to earn such a recommendation from your employer. Come, sit and eat.
This is all very generous of you, Count Dracula, and I don't wish to keep you late.
Oh, do not concern yourself for that.
Well, this is a welcome feast after a night carriage ride in the cold. Thank you.
Listen to them. The children of the night. What music they make.
Music? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. Certainly a wild sound.
Ah, sir. You dwellers in the city cannot enter into the feelings of the hunter. But you must be tired. Your bedroom is all ready, and tomorrow you shall sleep as late as you will. I have to be away till the afternoon, so sleep well, and dream well.
God, keep me, if only for the sake of those dear to me. Morning, or rather early afternoon. Castle Dracula. The castle is a remarkable place, and in the gloom of last night it seemed an extraordinary size. I have not yet properly seen it in daylight. There are certainly odd deficiencies in the house, considering the extraordinary evidences of wealth which are around me. I have not seen a servant anywhere, nor heard a sound near the castle except the howling of wolves. I am all in a sea of wonders. Perhaps I am imagining it, but I will try to set down everything exactly all the same. I should see about finding a book to read. The Count isn't about, but perhaps he won't mind if I go to his library. It's odd speaking aloud in an empty room. I miss Mina. Ah, here we are. Goodness, they're all English books. Army and Navy lists, the London Directory, Whitaker's Almanac. Ah yes, the law list. There's an old friend of mine.
My friend, welcome. I hope you will enjoy my library.
Good morning, Count. I see you enjoy English books and guides, even the train timetables.
Well, these companions have been good friends to me. Through them I have come to know your great England, and to know her is to love her. I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl of humanity, to share its life, its change, its death. But, alas, I only know your tongue through books.
But, Count, you know and speak English thoroughly.
Oh, not so. Well, I know that did I move and speak in your London, all would know me for a stranger. That is not enough for me. Here I am noble. I am boyar. The common people know me, and I am master. But a stranger in a strange land, he is no one. Men know him not, and to know not is to care not for. I have been so long master that I would be master still, or at least that none other should be master of me. You shall, I trust, rest here with me a while, and I would that you tell me when I make error, even of the smallest, in my speaking.
Certainly, if you wish it. I am at your bidding. I hope you don't mind my browsing your shelves, by the way. I didn't mean to pry.
You may go anywhere you wish in the castle, except where the doors are locked, where of course you will not wish to go. There is reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand. Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not your ways, and there shall be to you many strange things.
Indeed, I've already seen some rather strange things. The carriage ride took a winding route, and I saw blue flames from the window hovering over certain spots of the ground. What were they?
Ah, they appear over the places where treasure has been concealed in times of invasion. Why, there is hardly a foot of soil that has not been enriched by the blood of men. But the invader found little to plunder when he arrived, for whatever there was had been sheltered in the friendly soil.
But how can it have remained undiscovered? There's a sure index for anyone who will take the trouble to look.
Because your peasant is at heart a coward and a fool. Those flames only appear on one night, and on that night no man of this land will, if he can help it, stir without his doors. And, dear sir, even if he did, he would not know what to do. Even you would not, I dare be sworn, be able to find these places again?
There you are right. I know no more than the dead where even to look for them.
As I thought. Come, tell me of London, and the house you have procured for me.
Of course. Let me bring out my photographs and plans.
Lay your papers out here.
Here's the place, Carfax Abbey. It contains some 20 acres, with several trees which make it in places gloomy, and a lake or pond of some sort. The house is very large, and of all periods back to medieval times, for one part is of stone, immensely thick, with only a few windows. There are but few houses close at hand, one being a lunatic asylum. Sorry about that.
I am glad that it is old and big. I myself am from an old family, and to live in a new house would kill me. I rejoice also that there is a chapel of old times. We Transylvanian nobles love not to think that our bones may lie amongst the common dead. I seek not gaiety nor mirth, not the bright voluptuousness of much sunshine and sparkling waters. I love the shade and the shadow, and would be alone with my thoughts when I may.
I'm glad you like it. I hoped it would be suitable. Here, I have some photographs as well.
Are there many windows in Carfax Abbey?
Yes, I believe 27 or so.
Well, were there any mirrors? Have they been removed by the previous owner?
They were removed, yes. We made sure of that, per your request. May the 8th. I have let my host keep me awake till dawn. He seems to have very odd sleeping habits, and I have never seen him eat or drink. He must be a very peculiar man. After supper we chatted, or rather he did, asking questions on every conceivable subject, hour after hour. It was getting very late, but I did not say anything, for I felt under obligation to meet my host's wishes in every way. I was not sleepy, but I could not help experiencing that chill which comes over one at the coming of first light. They say that people who are near death die generally at the change to the morning or the turn of the tide, and anyone who's experienced this change in the atmosphere can well believe it. Now outside the curtains there's only the warm grey of quickening sky. So I'm writing all this. This strange night existence is telling on me, I think, for I think such things. But no matter. I must not let imagination run riot with me. Odd that there's no glass to shave with. At least I brought a hand mirror in my shaving kit.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm sorry, Count. I didn't see you.
And you have cut yourself. Be careful how you cut yourself here. It is more dangerous in this country than you think.
I'll be all right, if I may have my mirror.
This foul bauble of man's vanity? Ha!
What?
This is the wretched thing that has done the mischief. You should thank me for destroying it.
How am I to shave now? I'd best have breakfast, and then see what my host requires of me. Count? No sign. I suppose I might as well do a little exploring. What a view! Trees as far as I can see, and gorges, rivers threading through the lot. The castle must be awfully high. Oh, yes, what an abyss. I ought to see the rest of the castle, or at least the doors that aren't locked. Well, that's one of Count's private rooms, no doubt. And this one. And this. Is there no way out? Is there no key? Locked and bolted, all of them, with no escape. What of the front door? Locked as well. The castle is a veritable prison, and I am a prisoner. The habit of writing in my journal must help to soothe me. I wish I were safe out of it, or that I had never come. If there were anyone to talk to, I could bear it, but I have only the Count to speak with, and he... I fear I am the only living soul within this place. I suspect even the driver who brought me here was the Count himself, for I have seen no one else. But I must find out all I can, but be very careful not to awake his suspicion. Here he comes.
My friend, you cannot be always at your books. Come, you must dine. I trust that you are finding your stay comfortable. Did you see a great deal of the castle today?
Only a little. I spent most of it in my room, attending to my work. But I am curious, Count, to learn more of yourself.
What would you wish to know, my friend?
Yesterday, you said you were of an old and proud family. I'm eager to learn of your history.
We have a right to be proud, for ours is the blood of many brave races who fought as the lion fights for lordship, till the dying peoples held that they were descended of these old witches who, expelled from Scythia, had mated with the devils in the desert. Fools! Fools! What devil or what witch was ever so great as Attila, whose blood is in these veins? Is it a wonder that we were a conquering race, when the Magyar, the Lombard, or the Turk poured his thousands on our frontiers, we drove them back? Was it not this Dracula, indeed, who inspired that others of his race, when he was beaten back, came again, since he knew that he alone could ultimately triumph? They said that he thought only of himself. Bah! What good are peasants without a leader? Ah, young sir, we can boast a record that the Habsburgs and the Romanovs can never reach. The warlike days are over. Blood is too precious a thing in these days of dishonourable peace, and the glories of the great races are as a tale that is told. But it is growing light out. You must not let me keep you up so late, my friend. It is only because of your fascinating questions that I have been distracted and let night run to morning.
Is it morning already? I lost track as well. I ought to go to bed before I fall asleep here.
Let me advise you, my dear young friend, nay, let me warn you with all seriousness, not to go to sleep in any other part of the castle. It is old, and has many memories, and there are bad dreams for those who sleep unwisely. Be warned! Should sleep overcome you, then haste to your own chamber, for your rest will then be safe. But if you be not careful in this respect, then...
I quite understand, of course.
Then good night, and sleep as long as you like.
This journal is becoming awfully like Arabian Nights, or the ghost of Hamlet's father, everything breaking off at cockcrow. For the Count's warning, my only doubt was as to whether any dream could be more terrible than the net of gloom and mystery closing around me. But he recoiled when he touched the crucifix from the innkeeper. I'll hang it over my bed tonight, for it seems a comfort somehow. Bless the good woman who gave it to me. Let me be prosaic so far as facts can be. It will help me to bear up, though this imprisonment is destroying my nerve. God knows there's ground for fear in this accursed place. As I leaned tonight from the window to look over the beautiful expanse, my eye was caught by something moving at the window of the Count's own room. What I saw was the Count's head coming out from the window. I was at first interested and somewhat amused, for it's wonderful how small a matter will interest and amuse a prisoner. But my feelings changed to repulsion and terror when I saw the whole man slowly emerge from the window and crawl down the castle wall, over that dreadful abyss, face down. I saw him grasp the corners of the stones and move downwards with considerable speed, just as a lizard moves along a wall. What manner of man is this, or what manner of creature is it in the semblance of a man? I hardly know what day it is. Once more, I have seen the Count go in his lizard fashion. I thought to use the opportunity to explore more than I had dared to do yet, but still, there's no sign of the key to the front door, and no escape. At last, I found one door which gave a little under pressure and led to a wing of the castle evidently occupied by the ladies in bygone days. for the furniture had more air of comfort than I had seen. There was a dread loneliness in the place which chilled my heart. Still, it was better than living alone in the rooms which I had come to hate from the presence of the Count. Here I am, sitting at a little oak table where, in old times, possibly some fair lady sat to pen, with much thought and many blushes, her ill-spelt love letter, and writing in my diary in shorthand. It is 19th century, up to date with a vengeance. And yet, unless my senses deceive me, the old centuries have powers of their own which mere modernity cannot kill. The yellow moonlight makes it hardly look abandoned at all. It softens the place somehow. I think I may sleep here tonight. Better at least than returning to my room now.
Yours is the right to begin.
Begin, and we shall follow. He is young and strong, and there are kisses for us all. Kiss him now, or let me.
Stay there, my beauty, and let us kiss you. Don't try to rise. You're perfectly comfortable.
Perfectly delectable.
Just relax. There's nothing to fear.
No need to speak. Don't strain that lovely throat of yours. We will each take our turn.
Who are you? Women or fiends of the pit? Get away! Oh, I can't move. I can't move.
How dare you touch him? Any of you? How dare you cast eyes on him when I have forbidden it? Back, I tell you all. This man belongs to me.
You yourself never loved. You never love.
Yes, I too can love. You yourselves can tell it from the past. Is it not so? Well, now I promise you that when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Now go. Go!
Then are we to have nothing tonight?
What of that sack you carry? It's still moving. Is it fresh?
Here. Now go! My friend, you are out of place.
They're gone. They vanished. I must have imagined it. They're gone. Ah! No! Get away! Oh. I'm back in my own bed. I must have fainted, and the Count must have carried me here. And there are my clothes, quite folded. That's not like me. Did I dream it all? Is it morning, or what day is it? Where's my coat and my papers? My journal! He hasn't taken it. There it is. Thank God. But the rest of it, I've got to check. The same as last night. It's jammed. No. Locked from the inside. It was real. Then my room is the only sanctuary I have in this castle, just as the Count warned. Sanctuary. Too holy a word for this dreadful place. But it is better than out there, where those women wait to suck my blood. God, preserve my sanity. To this I am reduced. Ah!
My friend, you have slept long. Come, I have a task for you to do. Have you written to our friend, Mr. Peter Hawkins, or to any other?
No, I haven't had any opportunity of sending letters to anybody.
Then write now, my young friend, and say, if it will please you, that you shall stay with me until a month from now.
Do you wish me to stay so long?
I desire it much. Nay, I will take no refusal. When your master, employer, what you will, engaged that someone should come on his behalf, it was understood that my needs only were to be consulted. I have not stinted. Is it not so?
Indeed. Do not doubt that I am at your command.
I pray you, my good young friend, that you will not discourse of things other than business in your letters. It will doubtless please your friends to know that you are well, and that you look forward to getting home to them. Is it not so?
They will be most pleased to hear from me.
Good. Sit here. I have paper and envelopes for you. Indeed, write 3 letters. In the first, saying that your work is nearly complete. In the second, that you are starting from this place the following day. And in the third, that you have left the castle and reached Bistritz. The post goes rarely, so I will send them all tomorrow. I will leave you to compose. Be quick.
Now's my chance. I'll write to Mina in shorthand. If I slip it into the same envelope...
What have you written here?
Only a letter.
This is an affront to friendship and hospitality. But no. I see now it is nothing to us. Merely a paper on which you have blotted your pen. It need trouble us no longer.
Oh, God.
Now, write 3 letters, and these, when you have set down your words plainly, I will send. The first on June 12th, the second on June 19th, the last on June 29th. Good. Now, my friend, get to bed, for you look as though you have been much troubled. Come, let me escort you back to your room.
I know now the span of my life. God help me.
Monster, give me my child!
No. No. Get out of this place.
You devil, I see you there!
She means me. Then did the Count wear my coat last night? Is this his new scheme of villainy?
Monster, give my child back to me!
Don't stay here! He's called them. He's summoned the wolves. Just leave this place. It's over. I cannot pity her. She was better dead, rather than knowing what became of her child. Let me be calm, for out of that way lies madness indeed. Whatever happens now, I must record it, for if anyone should read this, it will hold a record of my final days. Last night, the last of my letters went to post, that fatal series which is to blot out the very traces of my existence from the earth. Strange to say, I slept without dreaming. Despair has its own calms. Let me not think of it. Action! It has always been at night time that I have been molested or threatened or in some way in danger. I have not yet seen the Count in the daylight. Can it be that he sleeps when others wake? If I could only get into his room. But there is a way, if one dares to take it.
Tomorrow, my friend, we must part. You return to your beautiful England, I to some work, which may have such an end that we may never meet. But I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Why may I not go tonight?
Because, dear sir, my coachman and horses are away on a mission.
But I would walk with pleasure. I want to get away at once.
And your baggage?
I do not care about it. I can send for it some other time.
You English have a saying which is close to my heart, for its spirit is that which rules our boyars. Welcome the coming, speed the parting guest. Not an hour shall you wait in my house against your will, though sad am I at your going, and that you so suddenly desire it. Come. Hark!
the door! I shall wait till morning.
As you wish, my friend.
You promised.
As soon as you were done with him.
And you leave tomorrow.
You will have him soon enough. Your time is not yet come. Wait! Have patience. Tonight is mine. Tomorrow night is yours.
30th of June, morning. These may be my last words I ever write in this diary. I slept till just before dawn, and when I woke, threw myself on my knees, for I determined that if death came, he should find me ready. At last, I felt that subtle change in the air, and knew that the morning had come. Then a wild desire took me to obtain that key at any risk, and I determined then and there to scale the wall and gain the Count's room. There's nothing for it. The chances are desperate, but my need is more desperate still. I made it inside. That's the first part done. But if the Count is here... No, I don't see him. And no key in the lock, or anywhere else. Ah! There's another door. I suppose this must have been a chapel once, though it's little more than a ruin, and almost entirely dark. These vaults are a dread to the very soul. There's a smell like fresh earth, and those boxes seem to have been filled recently. At least there's nothing in them worse than... Ah! It's the Count! But is he dead or asleep? He's gorged with blood like some sort of filthy leech. He looks younger. Am I imagining things? Never mind that. I've got to search his body for the key before I lose my nerve. No sign of it. I'm still a prisoner to be left to the mercy of those dreadful women. And is it this monster that will go to London and feed upon the helpless? If I had anything that could hinder him. There, a shovel. I'll strike him. I'll strike him with whatever strength is in me. There, I've dealt him a blow. He's bleeding. Someone's here to move his cargo. Who are they? Would they help him conspire to keep me here? I have to risk it. I'll run back to the Count's room, and then the moment they open the door, I'll escape. Open this door! Open it! I beg you! No way out. They can't hear me. They won't help me. They must have reached the vault by another door. I've lost my chance of escape. And I am alone. I'll write my goodbye to Mina. And then I must scale the wall again, farther than before, and see if I can find a way out of it. It is better than waiting for nightfall, for death at the foot of that terrible cliff is nothing to what will happen to me if I remain here. Goodbye, all. Mina.
Lucy! Mina, at last! Your train took almost forever. You look well. Welcome to Whitby. Tell me all about the life of an assistant schoolmistress. How is Jonathan? How are you? How truly lovely it is to see you.
Which shall I answer first?
Before you answer any of them, we must have tea. And while we're here, we must find some way to make you smile. Because I see you have that faraway look that means you're worrying about your fiancé across the sea in some foreign land.
I'm not worrying about him. I have too much work to do to have time to worry.
Oh, all right. Thinking about him. But you need someone to distract you from your troubles, and I've missed you so terribly.
And I you. I've been longing to talk with you again and build our castles in the air. Not to mention, hear about this tall young man with curly hair who brings you to concerts.
Someone has been telling tales?
Yes, you have.
3 proposals in one day. Did they know, or did you have to tell them to come round one by one? Did they arrive all at once?
Oh, Mina, I felt just like D'Artagnan. 3 all at once, or rather one right after another, like the musketeers before them.
Don't tell me you had to duel them too. But say all, Lucy dear. I am eager to hear it.
Where do I start? Dr. Seward, the first one. He's only 9 and 20, but he's in charge of an immense lunatic asylum, all on his own. Poor thing. He sat on his hat when he first came in and kept fretting and fidgeting with a lancet, so much that I hardly had the heart to let him finish.
An asylum doctor? What a dreadful job it must be. I wonder that he can stay quite sane himself.
I have no doubt it is difficult, but he was terribly kind to me and said if I ever needed a friend, I would find him one of the best.
And who were the other 2? Go on, don't leave me in suspense.
All right, where was I? I told you of Mr. Morris, didn't I? Quincey P. Morris, from Texas.
Oh, yes, the American. What did he say?
He was so jolly and sweet and said, Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixings of your little shoes, but won't you just hitch up alongside of me and let us go down the long road together driving in double harness?
He can't really talk like that. No one would understand him.
He doesn't always. He just did it because he knew I liked it. I answered in kind as I told him I wasn't broken to harness yet and knew nothing of hitching. Then he became very earnest and said, Lucy, you're an honest-hearted girl, I know. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you let me, a very faithful friend.
You're going to have a great many friends if this continues.
Yes, I don't know what I've done to deserve them. I cried then, and I may cry again now if you don't stop me. For last Monday was a very trying day.
3 proposals at once. How could you stand being so adored?
Don't tease, Mina. I know I must sound awfully vain, but truly, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't expecting any of it. I gave Mr. Morris a kiss in friendship, and he left cheerful enough, but I felt monstrous. And they're both such good friends of Eartha's. Have I ruined it all?
Have no fear on that count. They've both promised you their friendship, haven't they?
Why can't they let a girl marry 3 men? Or as many as want her and save all this trouble? But this is hearsay, and I must not say it. I only wish.
I know, my dear. I know how it hurts you to let people down, but you did it as gently as anyone can do. Now tell me of the 3rd.
Do I really need to tell you? You know who it is. I told you all about him in my letters. My dear, dear Arthur. He knelt down, and then we were kissing each other, and I hardly know what either of us said.
And you're engaged!
Yes. Oh, Mina, I am very, very happy. Oh, dear. I'm sorry to cry like this, only I never had anyone propose to me before, and I suppose I didn't quite know what to do at the time.
I think you did remarkably well. When Jonathan proposed, I could barely speak for happiness. It was the one and only time he's ever called me Wilhelmina, and I don't think he's called me that since.
I hope we shall be happy as you two. Is there any word from Jonathan?
I haven't heard from him in a fortnight, save for one note, only a few lines long. It's not like him. He said he'd be done with business soon, and then he'd be on his way.
Well, you may tell him from me to come home at once. I forbid him to keep you waiting, and to make you worry. Ah, see? I've made you smile. I knew I could do it.
You always could. Now, tell me you don't still walk in your sleep, or I'll not have a single night's rest.
Journal of Dr. John Seward. Ebb tide and appetite tonight, and cannot sleep. Since my rebuff of yesterday can find no enjoyment nor fulfillment in anything. As the only cure is work, I will record here my observations of a patient, whose case is becoming ever more interesting, by the name of R.M. Renfield, 59 years old. Today I questioned him more thoroughly than ever I had done before. I see now that there is something of cruelty in it. I seemed to want to keep him at the state of madness which ordinarily I would avoid, as I would the pit of hell. Under what circumstances would I not avoid the pit of hell? he seems to have some settled scheme of his own, but what it is I do not yet know. His hobby of late has been catching flies, then spiders, which he catches with the use of his flies, and which have become as great a nuisance. Yet I wonder if he will have them for long, for he has been at the window, putting them about to catch birds, which indicates a pattern, an increase in the size and vivacity of his pets. I must watch him carefully.
Come on, Jack. Enough moping over work. We've got places to be.
Quincey, of course. I'll be with you in a moment. Arthur, come in.
Jack? Quincey? What's going on?
A party to celebrate your engagement, of course. And to comfort Jack and me in our loneliness. Come on, share a drink with us.
You really are too kind.
None of that. Come join us at the campfire, like old times.
Though in a drawing room rather than the open prairie. My congratulations, Art. She chose well.
I don't know why she did choose me.
Neither do we. Say, Jack, you don't think she's crazy, do you?
Of course not.
I think I might be. Isn't love a form of insanity? I'm so happy I could sing, but I won't.
You didn't propose to Lucy by singing, did you?
No! I did want her to say yes.
Well, she knows a good man when she sees one. To Lucy.
To Lucy.
Fool talk. Lock, stock and barrel. These bands and wafts and bow ghosts and bar guests and bogles and all ought to be made up to scare and scunner halflings and to get folks to do something or other they don't incline to.
Do you mean ghosts?
Aye, naught but airblebs, and made up by the same as make up lies from the pulpit or carve the tombstones at our feet. Why, half of them be made up of lies of one kind and another.
Oh, Mr. Swales, you can't be serious. Surely they aren't all lies.
Yeah, blends. Now look you here. You come here a stranger, and you see this Kirkgarth.
Kirkgarth?
I think it's got something to do with the church.
Why, there be scores of these lay beds that be tomb as old Dunn's back a box on Friday night, look at them.
Who lies under this one? Edward Spenceley, Master Mariner, murdered by pirates off the coast of the Andes, April 1854. Yes, I suppose he would have been buried at sea then.
I could name you a dozen whose bones lie in the Greenland seas above. Do you think that all these men will have to make a rush to Whitby when the trumpet sounds? When they got here, they'd be jumbling and jostling one another. That'd be like a fight up on the ice in the old days.
But they won't truly need to bring their tombstones with them on the Judgment Day. Are the stones not to please their relatives more than anything?
Oh, they please their relatives to know that lies is wrote over them, and that everybody in the place knows they be lies.
What about this poor fellow, George Cannon? We've been sitting over him every day. I never thought to read his inscription. It says here that he fell off the rocks and left a grieving mother. Really, Mr. Swales, I don't see anything funny about that.
You don't see aught funny. That's because you don't gown the sorrowing mother was a hellcat that hated him, and he committed suicide in order that she mightn't get an insurance she put on his life. And as to hopes of a glorious resurrection, I've often heard him say myself that he hoped he'd go to hell, for his mother was so pious that she'd be sure to go to heaven, and he didn't want to addle where she was.
Oh, why must you tell us? It is my favorite sit, and I cannot leave it, and now I find I must go on sitting over the grave of a suicide.
That won't harm ye, my pretty, and it may make old Geordie gladsome to have so trim a lass sitting on his lap. I must gang againwards home now, missus. My granddaughter doesn't like to be kept waiting when the tea is ready, and miss, I lack belly timber sairly by the clock.
Goodbye, Mr. Swales. Do come again tomorrow. Oh, Mina, I'm so glad we met him. Isn't it dreadful, the thought of all those ghosts and goblins?
Perfectly horrible. I wonder how many of those poor, lonely wraiths are hovering all around us.
Sitting right beside us on the bench.
But we'll never get Mr. Swales to believe us, even if they popped up right in front of him.
I can feel them now, all around us. Perhaps the monks from the abbey, or are they the nuns? I suppose we walk through them every time we come to this seat.
But if any of them can speed across the sea and tell me if Jonathan is well, I can find some peace of mind. Come, Lucy, sit with me. We'll watch the sun as it sets. How quiet it gets up here. Lucy's paying calls with her mother, and no one is about. I ought to write in my journal. Then later, when Jonathan is home, I can look back and laugh at how silly I was to worry. The suspense is getting dreadful, though. If only I knew where to write. Or where to go. I should feel easier.
Evening, lass.
Oh, Mr. Swales, you startled me. Do you think we're in for a storm?
Aye. Look over yonder at the clouds on Kettleness, and the Har away to sea.
It certainly looks like mist on the horizon. I must try to learn the weather signs. I can see the fishing boats racing into the harbour, and it looks like there's another vessel.
Yon ship sails like no ship I've seen. Mine nigh 100 years.
She's certainly swaying. I wish I had a glass to see her better.
I mun swear no living soul at will.
Oh, but you don't believe in ghosts, Mr. Swales?
Now, miss, I'm afeard I shocked you with all my wicked words about the dead, but I didn't mean them, and I hope you'll remember that when I'm gone.
Oh, please, Mr. Swales, don't talk like that. You'll live a long time yet, I'm sure. I didn't mean to tease.
The old man is whetting his scythe for me, and that's why I took to making light of it. But I'm not afeard of it. But I wanted to tell you this before it were too late, for there's something in that wind and in the host beyond that looks and sounds and smells like death.
Well, Renfield, have you managed to clear away the spiders, as I asked?
Oh, yes, Doctor. And look what I have now.
Yes. I see you found a way to lure them.
They like the spiders.
And do you mean to keep them?
I do, unless I can get, if you would do me a favor, a very, very great favor.
What is it you'd like?
A kitten. A nice, little, sleek, playful kitten that I can play with and teach and feed and feed and feed.
A kitten? You wouldn't prefer a cat?
Oh, yes, I would like a cat. I only asked for a kitten lest you refuse me a cat.
That won't be possible at the moment.
You wouldn't be so unkind as to deny me?
I shall see about it. Good night, Renfield.
My salvation depends on it.
Later in the day, when I visited Renfield, I found him spreading sugar at the window, beginning his fly-catching again. To my disgust, I saw him catch one out of the air and eat it, still alive, before I could stop him. The sparrows had gone. When I asked what had become of them, he said they had all flown away. If I could find out what is in his mind... He has laid himself out to obtain life in a cumulative way, that much I can see, and he keeps a notebook in which he records as in a ledger. He is certainly dedicated to his cause. If I had as strong a cause as my poor mad friend...
Dr. Seward, I looked in on Renfield as you asked.
Thank you, Dr. Hennessey. What news?
He was very sick just now. He's disgorged a large quantity of feathers. My belief is he has eaten his birds.
As I thought, my homicidal maniac is of a peculiar kind. I suppose we must invent a new term for him altogether. Call him a zoophagous or life-eating maniac.
Quite possibly. I would say it's a good thing you didn't allow him a cat.
Ash to the wheel, they said, with a crucifix in his hands. Poor man must have been mad.
No, they say it was the first mate who went mad and tied him up like that.
I heard it was a demon.
That's because you listen to fools and credulous folk. I'll not tell you again, Thomas. There was no demon on board that ship save the ones that are inside folks' heads.
What's happened?
Ship drifted in last night. There's not a living soul come off it, save for the dog. And no one knows where that's gone now.
Though the captain's body was still aboard. Only one. The others were all gone. No one knows where. Look here. The paper's already got a hold of his log. They have no shame. Must have been out of his head. I always said the sea could drive people desperate.
It's an omen. The old man knew it, and knew he was done for too.
Who do you mean?
Old Mr. Swales. Didn't you hear? He was found this morning with his neck broken, up on yon bench.
He must have had a fright and fallen badly. It's not an omen. He's just a poor old fella being thrown off his balance on rocky ground and coming to a bad pass.
The poor man.
Oh, how dreadful.
Perhaps he saw the dog that came off the ship, and it startled him.
We spoke to him only yesterday.
He was a fine old fella.
But we ought to get about our business and not keep you longer. Well, you lasses let the SPCA know if you see that dog, as they want to adopt it and save one good thing out of the whole wreck. Who knows how the poor beast survived so long? Well, there's nothing aboard on that ship save a cargo of boxes filled with earth. The papers said.
I'd not come near the beast. They found a dog with its throat torn out this morning. What else would have done it? Who's to say this animal isn't Shuck or old Nick himself?
Oh, stop your yammering! You're as bad as the townfolk who come up in search of ghosts. No offence to either of you, missus.
The poor sea captain was laid to rest quite near our old seat. Lucy seemed much upset. I greatly fear that she is of too supersensitive a nature to go through the world without trouble. Somehow it all seems like a dreadful picture coming together, drawn by fate. For yesterday, Mrs. Westenra confided in me that she had got her death warrant. She has not told Lucy and made me promise secrecy. Her doctor told her that within a few months at most she must die, for her heart is weakened. A sudden shock would be almost sure to kill her.
No news from Jonathan. Still.
Lucy! Oh, you startled me. I was just writing in my journal about the ship that drifted in.
The dog is still missing, is it?
I'm afraid so. You look as if you've something on your mind. Are you well?
It's nothing. Arthur's father is ill, and Mother... it's nothing. Just thinking of those poor souls on the ship.
I can't stop thinking of it either. I pasted the article in my journal.
Well, if I see the dog, I shall adopt him and see what Arthur thinks of that.
Doesn't he already have dogs?
Then he shouldn't mind one more. The poor thing.
Lucy? Why is her bed empty? Lucy, are you... Oh no. Oh, the door's open too. Oh dear. Sleepwalking again. I'd best find her before anybody sees her. Where could she have gone? I'll look on her favorite seat. If she's not there, I don't know what I'll do. She's got to be there. 198, 199. That's a lot of steps. Oh, there she is. But what's that bending over her? It's got such dreadful red eyes. Hey, you there! Get away! It's gone. Come on, Lucy. Please wake up.
Mina?
It's all right. I've got you. Come with me. I'll put this cloak round you, and you can put on my shoes. You're so cold.
Is that you?
Yes, it's me. You're safe. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry?
I seem to have pricked you with the cloak pin. You're bleeding a little.
What am I doing here?
Let's just get you back inside. No sign of that thing that was bending over her. Maybe it was just a bat. Everything looks bigger at night. All the same, the sooner we're back inside, the sooner I can set my mind at ease.
Mina, didn't you sleep at all?
Oh, Lucy, you're awake. How are you feeling?
Strange. I had such dreams last night. Have I slept late?
Not too late. You were sleepwalking and I brought you in, so I thought it best to let you rest.
Sleepwalking? My father used to do it too. I must have dreamt... I had the feeling I was sinking into green water. There was a singing in my ears, as I have heard there is to drowning men, and then everything seemed passing away from me. My soul seemed to go out from my body and float about the air. I seem to remember that once the West Lighthouse was right under me, and then there was a sort of agonizing feeling, as if I were in an earthquake, and I came back and found you shaking my body. I saw you do it before I felt you.
I'm only glad I found you before you caught cold.
I'm perfectly well, Mina. Don't fret, but please don't tell my mother about it.
Not a word. We won't have any souls left in our shoes if we keep having long walks like this every day.
The fresh air is doing me a world of good. I shall be far too tired for sleepwalking tonight.
I hope you're right. What a beautiful sunset. Look at the Abbey.
His red eyes again. They're just the same. Oh, it's nothing. It must have just been the way the light reflected.
The windows of the church? They are rather sinister in the sunset. Quite red.
Just the same. Pardon me, Mina. I'm not sure why I said that. For a moment, that fellow down there seemed to have glowing eyes. But it was only the windows. How absurd.
Let's return to our lodgings. I'm still worried about you. You're so pale. And if those pinpricks from the other night don't heal soon, I will insist on you seeing a doctor about them.
You're worried about Jonathan, so you worry about me because I'm closer. But you needn't be, my dear. I'm feeling so much better. And hardly sleepwalking at all. At least that I remember.
Yes.
Oh dear, have I been up in the night? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you.
Oh, don't think on it. We'll go for a drive tomorrow, and soon Mr. Holmwood...
Arthur?
Soon Arthur can join us.
When Jonathan returns, we'll have to persuade him to come here too.
Pardon me, Miss Mary. A letter for you. From Hungary? Judging by the stamp?
It's a letter from Jonathan. It must be. Oh, no. It's not in his handwriting. Oh, God. What if it contains news of... I must read it. I must see.
12th August. Dear Madam, I write by desire of Mr. Jonathan Harker, who is himself not strong enough to write, though progressing well, thanks to God and St. Joseph and St. Mary. He has been under our care for nearly 6 weeks, suffering from a violent brain fever. He wishes me to convey his love and ask you to write for him to Mr. Peter Hawkins to say, with his dutiful respects, that he is sorry for his delay and that all of his work is completed. He will require some few weeks' rest in our sanatorium in the hills. He wishes me to say that he has not sufficient money with him and that he would like to pay for his staying here so that others who need shall not be wanting for help. Believe me, yours with sympathy and all blessings, Sister Agatha, Hospital of St. Mary and St. Joseph.
Then he is alive. Thank God, but what could have happened to him? What kind of a shock? How soon can I go to him?
P.S. My patient being asleep, I open this to let you know something more. He has told me all about you, and that you are shortly to be his wife. All blessings to you both. Be assured that he is well cared for and is truly getting on well, and will in a few weeks be all himself. He has won all hearts by his sweetness and gentleness, but be careful of him for safety's sake.
What is it? Where is Jonathan?
He's in a hospital in Budapest. Lucy, darling, I've got to leave. Will you be all right?
I'll be fine. You must go to Jonathan and give him my love. Tell him he must get better.
Of course. He won't dare refuse you. I'll be back. We'll be back as soon as we can.
The master is at hand. Go away. I don't want to talk to you. The master is near, and I will go to him.
19th August. Strange and sudden change in Renfield. About 8 o'clock he began to get excited and sniff about as a dog does when setting. He would not speak to the attendant, nor myself, and no longer shows interest in his pets. The attendant thinks it is a sort of religious mania that has come upon him. We must watch him for signs of further agitation, lest he become violent as his records show he has previously done. I am weary tonight, and low in spirits. I cannot but think of Lucy, and how different things might have been. Oh, Lucy, Lucy, I cannot be angry at you. If I don't sleep at once, chloral, the modern Morpheus, C2H3Cl3O2H2O. I must be careful not to let it grow into a habit. No, I shall take none tonight. I have thought of Lucy, and I shall not dishonour her by mixing the two. If need be, tonight again shall be sleepless. Come in.
Jack, I hope I'm not interrupting.
No, I was only taking notes. Take a seat, Arthur. Is it something the matter?
There's one thing bothering me, Jack, but I don't know if I can ask you. It's about Lucy.
Is she well?
That's just it, old boy. I don't know.
What do you mean?
She swears up and down that she feels fine, just a little tired. But she seems low-spirited. And the other day I could have sworn she was breathing oddly. Am I being too solicitous?
I can look at her if you'd like, if it would put your mind at ease.
Thank you. You know I hate to ask it of you, but my father's worse, and I've got to care for him. She's agreed to see you if it would prevent me from worrying.
Don't think of that. Only, you must understand, a full examination, well, given the circumstances.
Oh, yes, of course.
But I'll drop by and talk with her, if it would help.
I'll arrange for you to have lunch there, so as not to arouse her mother's suspicions. Mrs. Westenra has not been well, and, I'd rather not be the cause of any shock or upset.
Of course. I'll let you know if I find anything amiss, but please, my dear fellow, do not be over-anxious unless you hear from me. I know you must be worried enough as it is.
Dr. Seward, Renfield has escaped.
I should take care of this. Where was he headed?
They saw him running toward the Carfax Abbey. Over the wall!
Find me a ladder. I'll go after him.
Sister Agatha says we may be married this afternoon, my dear.
A month ago, I never thought I would live to wed you.
You mustn't try to remember what happened, she said.
I know. So far, I haven't tried to, nor so much as looked in my notebook. I know it's in here, but I can't bring myself to read it. Wilhelmina.
Yes, Jonathan?
You know, dear, my ideas of the trust between husband and wife. There should be no secret, no concealment. I have had a great shock, and when I try to think of what it is, I feel my head spin round, and I do not know if it was all real or the dreaming of a madman. The secret is here, and I do not want to know it. I want to take up my life here with our marriage.
So do I.
Here's the book. Take it and keep it. Read it if you will, but never let me know, unless, indeed, some solemn duty should come back upon me to go back through the bitter hours, asleep or awake, sane or mad. Recorded here.
I promise. My dear Lucy, the time has come and gone. I feel very solemn, but very, very happy. Jonathan woke again a little after the hour, and all was ready. He sat up in bed, propped up with his pillows. But he answered his "I will" firmly and strongly. I could hardly speak. My heart was so full that even those words seemed to choke me. The dear sisters were so kind. When they had left me alone with my husband, oh, Lucy, it is the first time I have written the words, my husband, I took the book from under his pillow and wrapped it up in white paper and tied it with a little bit of blue ribbon that was round my neck and sealed it over the knot with sealing wax, and for my seal, I used my wedding ring. Then I kissed it and showed it to my husband and told him that I would keep it so and that I would never open it unless it were for the sake of some stern duty. Then he took my hand in his, and Lucy, it was the first time he took his wife's hand, and said that it was the dearest thing in all the wide world, and that he would go through all the past to win it again. I wish you, my dear, all the happiness in your marriage that I have in mine, and for your life to be all it promises, love and trust and joy in all things. I must not wish you no pain, for that can never be, but I do hope that you will always be as happy as I am now. Your ever-loving Mina Harker.
My dear Mina, oceans of love and millions of kisses. I wish you could be coming home soon enough to stay with us here. The strong air would soon restore Jonathan. It has quite restored me. I have an appetite like a cormorant. I'm full of life and sleep well. You'll be glad to know that I have quite given up walking in my sleep. I think I have not stirred out of my bed for a week. That is when I once got into it at night. Arthur says I'm getting fat. By the way, I forgot to tell you that Arthur is here. We have such walks and drives and rides and rowing and tennis and fishing together. And I love him more than ever. He tells me that he loves me more, but I doubt that. For at first he told me that he couldn't love me more than he did then. But this is nonsense. There he is, calling me. So, no more just at present from your loving Lucy Westenra. P.S. Arthur and I are to be married on the 28th of September. Mother sends her love. She seems better. Poor dear. Goodbye. But come back quickly. I must be cheerful for you and for Arthur and my poor mother. But I really don't feel it. I'll keep a good spirit, but... Oh, Mina... Come back soon.
To Professor Abraham Van Helsing, PhD, MD, D.Lit, etc., etc. My dear friend and master, I fear I have run across a problem I cannot easily understand, and which may require your own expertise. I will do as I used to do in my student days and give you no preliminary diagnosis, but with the patient's permission will provide a list of symptoms as observed during my consultation. The patient is somewhat bloodless and complains of difficulty in breathing satisfactorily at times, and of heavy lethargic sleep, with dreams that frighten her, but regarding which she can remember nothing. She says that as a child she used to walk in her sleep, and that during the summer the habit came back, but has not returned since then. As I could find no physical cause, I am convinced it must be something mental, but I am in sufficient doubt to call upon your help. Please come to London, for she has agreed to see you. I am writing not for myself, but for one whose well-being I prize far more highly, and for her fiancé, whose friendship has led him to seek my advice. It is in the same spirit, and in recognition of your knowledge of obscure diseases, that I now humbly ask for yours. Your friend, John Seward.
You've just listened to the first episode of Dracula, a radio play, presented by the Pourquoi-Pas players and CHMR 93.5 FM. This episode featured Tim Murray as Jonathan Harker, Jim Healey as Count Dracula, Shannan Rogers as Mina Murray-Harker, Lina Makaga as Lucy Westenra, Karin Murray-Bergquist as Dr. John Seward, James Dinn as Quincey Morris, Glen Warren as Arthur Holmwood, David Hallett as Mr. Swales, Kyle March-Maccuish as Renfield, Scott Worsfold as Patrick Hennessey, Leah McDonald as Sister Agatha and Vampire Woman, Lauren Andrews as the Innkeeper and Vampire Woman, Evan Maddock as Coachman, Transylvanian townsperson, Whitby townsperson, and Peter Hawkins, Jody Rideout as Transylvanian townsperson, Holly Stack as Vampire Woman, Hannah Tuck as the Passenger and Woman, Karin Murray-Bergquist as Whitby townsperson, and Jim Healey as Whitby townsperson. This episode was written by Karin Murray-Bergquist, based on the novel by Bram Stoker. Original music composed by James Dinn. This episode was edited by Christina Acton and directed by Hannah Tuck. Special thanks to Liam Kovich for permitting use of his recording of the Hannah dances, to Samantha Payne for chemistry consultation, to Jasmine and Louisa Murray-Bergquist for script feedback, and to Bob Earl and Rhea Rollman at CHMR for their support in this project. If you'd like to learn more about Pourquoi-Pas and upcoming projects, why not follow us on social media? Find us on Facebook as Pourquoi-Pas Players and on Instagram at POURQUOIPAS Players. To join our mailing list, send us a message through Facebook, Instagram, or email us directly at pourquoipasplayers@gmail.com. That's POURQUOIPASplayers@gmail.com. To re-listen to this episode and hear bonus content, head to YouTube or Podbean and search for Pourquoi-Pas Players. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned to CHMR 93.5 FM for more great local programming.